Oh, man. Barbershop Talk brought to you by Haviline Express Lube of Kernersville. Their service facility is independently owned and operated by Mac Allen, providing full service repair and maintenance services. They use the latest diagnostic equipment to guarantee your vehicle is repaired or serviced properly in a timely fashion. Mac and his team pride themselves on commitment to the local community and providing value-driven service in an inviting, friendly environment. Go see Mac at Haviline Express Lube of Kernersville for all your automotive maintenance needs. You were listening to the rundown. I'm your host, Desmond Johnson. Johnny O, Rod Funderburk in the house. Sawyer Dillon, our producer extraordinaire, and intern Aaron. The NBA is looking at changing the legal age for draft entry back to 18 from 19 years old, which would eliminate basically the one and done era in college basketball. It would be implemented in 2022 if approved. Guys, what are your thoughts on this move? Would it be good or bad for first for the NBA? Would it be good or bad for the league?
Well, first, I mean, so this is a segment again, maybe on Zion Williams.
Kind of, yeah. But literally, this came out like less than 24 hours after the Carolina Duke game. The NBA's like, oh well, you know what? We're kind of looking at letting these guys back into the league.
I like it. I mean, they got to do it, and now we got to wait till 2022 though, if approved. Let's just get it done. But I understand the whole recruiting thing.
I think it's in the collective bargaining agreement. They have to wait for it to expire before we do that. Actually, you know what? Before we get into that topic, let me get I have Sam on the line from Burlington. He wanted to talk Carolina and Duke. Sam, what's up, man? You're on the rundown. Morning.
My man Sam.
We got to take care of this today because obviously Florida State's a very good team. But just want to make a couple observations about the two programs of Duke and Carolina, maybe where they are right now. And I've got tremendous respect for Coach K and what Duke has done, and I hope most Duke fans have respect for Carolina as well as what Roy does. But from my perspective, and I'm not saying one way is better than the other, but at this point of the two programs, and I know you guys are getting ready to talk about this one and done and everything with the NBA, but at this point, Coach K has chosen to develop his program of a collection of talent. Is basically what he does. And I don't think he's able to coach the way he was 10 years ago because he brings in this young talent. He's not able to teach them the defense that they used to play because Duke does not play the defense that they did, 10 years ago before this one and done phenom started happening.
Right.
While Roy, his approach is he builds a team. And I'm not saying, and Roy will tell you, and you've heard him say it before, he would love to have more one and done.
He recruits some of the same kids, yeah.
Exactly, but I do think he wants to build a team. Now, again, I said I'm a Carolina guy, and I like that because what's missing from this week, and I've heard you guys talk about it during the week, is, Zion is a phenom. I mean, and I get it. It's all about the ratings. It's about money and everything else. But what's been lost in this is Luke May, Cam Johnson, Kenny Williams. They're three seniors for the University of North Carolina. They're all going to graduate. Luke is just named all academic, and then Cam Johnson's going to graduate with 2 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys are student athletes, and that's where I think the press misses, and that's what college athletics should be about. And I'm sure you guys are going to get into it because if this one and done goes away, it's going to change it again. So again, I just wanted to make that point as far as that piece of it, and just want to hear your comments on it. And thanks so much, and go Heels.
Hey man,
great
call.
Yeah.
Excellent call, Sam. Thanks for listening to the rundown. He makes a great point. I've mentioned it many times before too. That watching Carolina is one of the few blue bloods that they still kind of do team building. Like Kenny Williams and Luke May were 3-star. I think Kenny May was a 4-star, borderline 4-star when they got there. But I mean, we've watched them. Remember them freshman year to where they are now. They've been to 2 Final Fours. They've won a national championship. They've won an ACC title. I mean,
see, that's what we used to get in the 80s and early or in the 90s was watching a team develop. And getting the sophomore, juniors, and then all of a sudden a senior like a Luke May. I mean, that's where we're missing, that's where the college game, we're completely missing.
Well, I think Sam makes a good point. They are going through all their years of school. And one of the things, in my opinion, every person in the world, every young person who graduates from school should have an opportunity to spend some time in Chapel Hill. Because I'm going to tell you what.
You're a graduate.
Yes, the environment, the atmosphere at Chapel Hill, oh my God, it makes you not want to leave. I mean, you meet people from all over the place. You're talking about the United States being a melting pot.
Right.
Well, Carolina is a melting pot. I still have friends who I deal with who are from Armenia,
Wow.
From India, all over the place, man. And of course, all over the United States, from California, New York, Jersey, PA, Florida, Texas. Everywhere. Carolina is a melting pot, and everyone is so friendly down there, and everybody supports you and everything, and everybody's like, hey, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
Regardless if you're an athlete or just a student, it does not matter. So that whole family atmosphere at Carolina is different, and I think everybody ought to experience it, the young.
People joke when I say, for some reason Roy convinces kids to stay at Carolina a little bit longer than what the general public expects them to.
I don't
for
necessarily think it's Roy.
I don't think either.
I think he
it's
just
the environment.
he says, just come on.
Come
Same
on, let's
thing
see
happened
what we're
with
doing.
Jordan. Jordan wasn't going to Carolina.
Yeah.
But guess what? They said, hey, Dean said, I just want you to visit the campus. Just come on. And when he visited, guess what? Jordan
Fell in
said,
love with it.
NC State, I'm going to make a detour.
Now, see, this is why I've been saying all year, I don't know for sure that Nasir Little is leaving for the NBA, like everyone keeps saying, because the stuff we said in the first segment, he doesn't look ready at times. He's still really learning the game, according to his dad. He just started playing organized ball like in the 8th grade or something. So the fact that he's advanced his game to the point where he's playing on a North Carolina team is crazy in itself. But Kobe White is the best freshman on this team. He, in terms of getting it, the minutes, the exposure, the scoring, I can see Kobe leaving. But Kobe, we've met Kobe before. We've seen him play, last year before he even got to Carolina. I don't know if Kobe's ready to leave either. Just mentally or just physically. He seems like the type that would stay another year or so, even though people are trying to push him out the door. And
But
that's the mentality
one
from
and
Duke and
dones.
Kentucky.
None of these one and dones over the past few years are really ready to go.
No, they're not.
Maybe maybe 2 or 3 were completely
to me,
ready.
Zion,
Kyrie Irving, who didn't really play in college ball. Zion didn't need to go to college.
Zion didn't need college ball.
He's one of the few.
Now, he wouldn't have been the first pick because he wasn't the consensus one when the season started. R.J. Barrett was. And I think R.J. Barrett would be ready right now. He reminds me of Tracy McGrady so much.
Let me ask you a real quick question on that. R.J. Barrett, okay, what player does he remind you of?
Tracy McGrady.
Tracy McGrady.
Yeah, that's his game, the way he scores, he can get to the bucket. I think he can get to the bucket better than Zion Williamson can. Like, whether it's transition, half court, he gets to the bucket and gets buckets. And the way he scores, it looks like Tracy McGrady to me. Like, I can't think of another college player since McGrady that's had the same game.
So he's what, 6'8", he can handle the ball, he can rebound, he can shoot, he can take it to the basket, he can, he plays pretty damn good defense.
Yeah.
I was talking to my brother Slicko in Syracuse this morning, real early this morning actually, and he mentioned a name that, I never thought of him. Jalen Rose type player. What do you think?
He's a better scorer than Jalen was. They're about the same size.
Kind of looks like him. How about his movements?
Now,
maybe his mannerisms.
Maybe his mannerisms might be more of Jalen Rose. But to me,
I don't know.
At times, he reminds me of a Penny Hardaway at times. Just at times.
No,
who does? Oh, no, I like that. Sort of, yeah.
I'm going to take offense to that, too.
No, that's why I said at times, not all the time.
I think Penny was more fluid than anybody. And he was playing point guard. He was 6'9".
Well, when I say that, R.J. Barrett will take that ball, and it doesn't need to go to anybody else, whether he comes from the East Coast back down to his side of the court. Mm-hmm. That ball doesn't go to anybody else, and he can go to the basket, and it's like nobody can stop him. I saw him do a inside back to the outside step from coming back around on Carolina's player. I think you saw it too. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, that's Penny Hardaway-esque.
That's NBA-esque. Like, he's got a pro game. He's got a grown man game. That's why I was saying he reminds me of Tracy McGrady, because McGrady had a scorer's mentality. Penny was a distributor, but he could score when they needed it. Tracy McGrady was like Kobe Bryant. Like, I'm getting my 30 tonight. Like, I don't care if it takes me 15 or 40 attempts. I'm going to boom, 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 get it. And that's kind of the mentality I see in RJ.
Let me throw this one at you. This is my opinion, and I think I said it a couple weeks ago, but what about Jason Tatum isn't he sort of a Jason Tatum?
Kinda,
type
yeah.
player?
Actually, okay, I could go
see
with
that.
that. He is kind of a little bit like Jason Tatum, but
Anyway.
into this. So that a great call from Sam and talking about this one and done rule. I think it will affect. I think when they end it, K retires.
You think so?
Yeah, because by the time it's over, he'll be 74, 75.
Maybe he does.
No coach has coached past the age of 75 in Division One, although Boeheim is right on top of it, if I'm not mistaken.
74, yeah.
Would he want to have to? He would have to start rebuilding the way he recruits right now, so that in 2022 he's not starting from scratch.
Right.
Because if they do away with the rule, your top kids, I think they said on average before the rule went away, it was like 4 high school kids were getting drafted in the first round. So if you think that from this year's crop, that was probably R.J. Barrett, that would have been Zion Williamson, maybe Nasser Little, and I don't know.
Right.
That Jay Morant guy wouldn't have gone he's not even a freshman, I don't think. So I'm trying to think of another freshman that probably would have.
Well, that's what I mean. There's less than a handful
Cam Reddish, I'm sorry.
that can go right from high school to the NBA.
Right.
Really. I mean, so, I still think there's going to be some one and dones, obviously, that next group that are, they're not a Kobe and Garnett and LeBron that can go right to the NBA.
Yeah.
Yep. But, will he still be getting those players saying, hey, all you need is 1 year in college?
Right. See, that's what I was
that.
about to say, that it's the one and done era may not go away.
Right.
They'll just have to change how they recruit to these kids.
Have to
Well,
change.
maybe they won't, because it felt like Zion was saying one of the reasons why he picked Duke is because they basically sold him on being able to expand his brand.
Yeah.
And
he
they
has.
have. And
Wow.
they have. Duke's social
Like
media
no
department is bar none the best social media department in college sports. Like, they literally are a marketing machine. If you've seen any of their stuff on Facebook or Twitter, they do a lot of graphic stuff. Like, it's eye catching. And that Duke has elevated Zion to a higher place than he was before he got there. But Zion's also elevated Duke to a higher place than where they were, just exposure wise and fandom because of him being there. Now,
they've definitely done that, but I'll have to say the one and done. To me, this is an awesome deal for both the NBA as well as collegiate programs. For the NBA, check this out. You get a risk-free 1-year trial from some of the best prospects in the world.
right.
You don't have to take a chance on only relying on AAU competitions, doing a little bit of scouting, seeing them come into the combines. They interview these guys. Now you get to actually watch them play somewhere at a college before you invest millions and millions on top of dollars for these kids on your franchise. But they get a full collegiate season of seeing what these kids can do. To me, the one and done rule has actually saved some NBA teams from investing some bad money. Do you guys remember Andrew Harrison and Cliff Alexander?
Yes.
You remember they were saying those guys, could have come right on into the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
They wound up going to college, and as freshmen, they were like, wow, they are not even second round picks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
so
all
it saved them.
It's all potential, the NBA draft. I hate it because that was why they put the rule in place in the first place, because teams were like, they were afraid they were going to miss the next great Kevin Garnett or Kobe Bryant. So they were kind of reaching and grabbing guys out of high school. And then these guys are sitting at the end of the bench. The G League wasn't really there yet.
That's right.
And they were sitting at the end of these benches, and they could have been playing at Kansas or Duke or Carolina or UCLA, any of these bigger schools where you've got competition. I'm all for them doing some sort of like the Major League Baseball rule. You can go out of high school, but if you don't, you go to college, then you got to go for 3 years or something or 2 years.
I think 2 years would be great, not 3. You know what I mean? That's baseball, but man, 2 years would be
2 years would be great.
For everybody, especially the fans.
And like I said, the NBA wins, but college wins too. If you think about it,
I think they do.
They get a taste of the best top elite athletes and talent, even if it's only for 1 year. So instead of these guys going off to the NBA, they get to go to college and use college as a development system for them. As well as, like you said, Duke has a great social media program.
They do.
And, teams like Duke and Kentucky, they reap those benefits.
That's free
and those,
promotion for a year. And
those players get it too.
You're playing 40 games, and all of them are probably going to be on national TV. So, I mean, especially like this year, if you look at like Duke.
Oh my God, Duke owns ESPN.
Yeah.
DeMarcus Cousins had some comments on this earlier this week. He said basically to a group of reporters that college basketball is BS, but then said that college was the best time of his life. So to Rodney's point, it actually echoes what Rodney was saying, that
Yeah.
once you get there and you have the college experience, yeah, you might have been thinking about one and done before you got to college, but I can say college was the best 4 years of my life.
Yeah,
I
of
learned so
course.
much and met so many people and just became an adult at college,
Right.
where
Well,
these
that's
kids
what
don't get a chance
DeMarcus.
to.
That's what DeMarcus is obviously saying. He loved the college life, but when he says college basketball is bull beep, bleep, he means we should have been paid.
Right.
I mean, that's
Right,
basically
right.
that
Exactly
was
right.
his
Big
biggest
win.
complaint.
Right.
Got a